We are back. It is the month of May in Indiana, and certainly that means Pacers. Certainly that means Racers. It means Indiana Fever starting up. And Eddie Garrison, as we record this on Tuesday morning, we are 1 week away from our first 11 on 11 look at the 2025 Indianapolis Colts. So I don't want to kid anybody here. It's not certainly anywhere near the same importance or entertainment level as some of the other stuff we mentioned, but nonetheless, it is a big step in the offseason, and so we will certainly touch on that. Definitely next week's pod. We'll probably push it a little bit later in the week. I want to say Wednesday is our viewing with the Colts, just one viewing each of the next 2 weeks. But today's pod will focus on the schedule release. We'll recap that. We'll play the JT Tuimoloau interview from our morning show, and we'll get you set with some Twitter questions. Mr. Garrison, good morning to you. How are you?
I don't know how many times I have to tell you, KB. Mr. Garrison is my father. Every time I get called Mr., it makes me feel older than what I am.
One day that might be Mr. Garrison.
Pacers in 6, Pacers in 7.
I went 5. I went Pacers in 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I dabbled 6 and 5. I think the Knicks will crack with their lack of depth, their just lack of ability to handle the Pacers. You can't chase the Pacers. The Pacers are Tyreek Hill in the open field. You can't, if you let them get by you, you're not catching them. They play with great depth. They play with great pace. I think these early games in the series matter more to the Knicks than they do the Pacers, not just because of home court, because I think you saw it last year in the series, man. Look at Brunson game 1 and 2 throughout. You know, I mean, look at Donovan Mitchell in the last series, how he looked like at the start. You know, the longer these series go, the more you feel the Pacers' pace. This is going to be a really bad analogy. The Pacers, all right, you ever have like 20% on your phone?
Yep.
And you're trying to conserve, right?
Mm-hmm. Low battery mode, turn the brightness down.
Sure. Right, all those things. You know,
close out all the apps.
You know what the Pacers do? They take your phone when it's at 20% and they go through every app. And they turn off the Wi-Fi. And they're trying to check Twitter. And they're watching YouTube videos, and they're downloading photos, and they're just draining your battery even more. They're draining it and draining it. You know, you go to conserve mode, they don't allow you to go to conserve mode. They keep on coming at you on both ends of the floor. And I just think sooner or later, this Knicks team, which lacks depth, will crack. Could be dead wrong on that. I think I actually had Pacers in 5 over the Bucks. I had Cavs in 7, so that one definitely didn't play out. So we'll see how this one goes, but very much looking forward to closing out the month of May here. Pacers, Racers, and of course we'll sneak in some Colts.
By the way, did you have that analogy on the top of mind because Max Bowen or Rosie Bowen did that to you over the weekend? Or do they do that very frequently to your phone?
Yeah, I like to think I'm not allowing them that much phone access. Sadly, I probably do it to myself. Sadly, I'll probably do it Sunday at the race and, really regret it as we're stuck in traffic. But, yeah, I don't know if that's a great analogy, but I guess the Tyreek Hill transition to the Colts schedule, right?
That's exactly how I was going to do it.
Look at this. You're a pro.
So where do you want to start, KB? You want to start with the schedule release video, or do you want to start with the actual schedule?
Yeah, I think we had a Twitter question, I believe, about the video. So let's just go schedule takeaways here and then get to those Twitter questions.
Okay, what stood out to you about the schedule itself? I think there's one section of the schedule that stands out more than the rest to me, but curious to what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I actually want to begin at the start for 2 reasons. One, when you haven't won a season opener in 11 years, that stands out. And then 2, Eddie, I think the first 2 weeks are monumental. Hosting Miami, hosting Denver. To me, if you mapped out the AFC right now, you would have Miami, Denver, and Indianapolis in a very close tier. Last year's standings honestly played out in that manner. You beat Miami when they didn't have Tua, Tad Boyle and Snoop Huntley. And then, of course, you lost the most critical game of the year to Denver late in the season.
Tim Boyle and Snoop Huntley, yes.
Did I say Tad?
Yeah.
Gosh, I always do that. I have an Uncle Tad, and I think Tad Boyle is the coach at Colorado. These 2 games are monumental. They are at home, and I can't stress enough, man, they could be big tiebreaker games. So I go right to week 1 and 2. I just think these are 2 huge games. I know on May 20th, I probably sound like an idiot acting like a playoff tiebreaker could be on the line in week 1 or week 2, but I don't think it's that ludicrous of a statement. So You bring up the stretch. There's obviously a late stretch that, stands out. Certainly the one home Monday night game we can talk about as well, Eddie. But when the schedule came out, that's what stood out to me the most. And, when you get Miami week 1, you got to think Tua will be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So that could also impact some things as well. So, yeah, Miami-Denver, week 1 and 2, just huge games, AFC games. You're probably thinking Buffalo's winning the East. You're probably thinking Kansas City's winning the West. Okay, that means Denver and Miami get thrown in the wild card mix. Well, if the Colts are in the wild card mix for the, 11th year in a row or 10th year in a row without winning a division title, then these tiebreakers could matter a whole lot. So that is what jumped out to me right away.
You bring up the division title. So they have one home game. They have 2 division games in the first 10 weeks of the season. And then they have the rest in weeks 13 through 18. Those 2 divisional games between the first 10 weeks are both the Tennessee Titans. That was what stood out to me, KB, because, how many times have we sat here on schedule breakdowns or whatever, the following week or following Monday after it comes out, and we're sitting here looking at the Colts divisional opponent schedule, and they're done in the first 12 weeks of the year, and now those games are backloaded. They have them in the final stretch of the year where playoff seeding could be on the line, and the divisional title could be on the line as well.
I think it's a great AFC South schedule for the Colts and how it laid out because of this. You mentioned you get Tennessee twice before November.
Mm-hmm.
So that is theoretically Cam Ward is still getting introduced to NFL football.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather face the rookie quarterback September, October than November, December, January. Vice versa, you don't see Houston until Thanksgiving. So think about this. Last year when you and I did the show, we were talking about seeing Houston twice before Halloween. Now we're talking about not seeing Houston until Thanksgiving.
Another Thursday or Thanksgiving home game.
Yeah, it's that Sunday after Thanksgiving. Yeah, it seems like almost annually it's a home game for the Colts after Thanksgiving on that Sunday. So you won't see them until, again, November 30th or whatever the date is, and then the season finale. And on paper, you would think that's a good thing. Lou Anarumo's defense, maybe it takes a little bit of time, et cetera, et cetera. How does C.J. Stroud hold up behind the offensive line of Houston?
Yep.
So that, to me, is advantage Colts. I think this is a good AFC South schedule for you. Miami out of the gate, yeah, they're going to test you from an offensive standpoint, but, whether it's Mahomes, whether it's, Stroud twice late in the year, we'll see what Trevor Lawrence looks like late in the year. I'm trying to think, is it Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold, I want to say, or a couple other quarterbacks you'll face late in the year? To have those later in the season, I think is beneficial for you. Now, that is a tough stretch exiting the bye. You are at Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the stat is still astonishing. I went on Kansas City radio right after the schedule release. They like to talk to the opponents on their schedule. The fact that Mahomes has never beat the Colts in the regular season, it's just, hey, and by the way, they were taking a giant dump on the Colts. I mean, it was unbelievable. They're like, I'm not even going to watch that game on the first screen. That'll be a second TV viewing experience for me. Colts Chiefs. It's like, I kind of forgot, like when the Colts now show up on the schedule for these teams, they probably just look at it like, this is a nothing burger.
Kind of like how we look at Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's probably a decent comp. Yeah, they were like, and when you look at Kansas City's schedule, there's not many Sunday 1 o'clock games. So, I mean, you do get them out of the bye. I guess that's advantage. I mean, I think it's a good thing you have your bye a little bit more centrally located with that schedule. Something that stood out to me is I know that Shane Steichen wanted back-to-back West Coast games. He didn't get that. I think the hope and the thought was you would have, the Chargers, Seahawks be back-to-back. You could stay out there.
Or the Chargers and the Rams back-to-back.
That would be more than ideal. But so you will go to the Rams on the week 4. You will go to the Chargers, so back to L.A. week 7. You'll go to Berlin, of course, week 10. And then you'll go to Seattle week 15. So 3 separate trips out west plus Berlin. That is a big-time travel schedule. For our degenerates out there,
yep.
A lot of people do point to if you get the Western team or the Pacific time zone team, do you get them in the 1 o'clock slot? And you do with both the Raiders and Cardinals. Those are back-to-back 10 a.m. local time kickoffs. 1 p.m., of course, here, but 10 a.m. for those body clocks. So I do think that is something that stood out. I'd probably say the last thing, Eddie, and feel free, I guess 2. No home games from Halloween to Thanksgiving.
Yep, that was the other one.
Now, again, you have one of your home games in Berlin in that stretch, and, of course, you have your bye week. So no home games then, and then San Francisco, home Monday nighter. Boy, that's going to get flexed, is it not?
Right before Christmas, too.
No chance the Mannings are doing that, are they?
They never do a Colts game, right? It feels like.
Well, and I feel like they always take off the Christmas Monday nighter, and that's the closest one to Christmas. So that is December 22nd. Reminder, they can flex they can flex Monday night games that late in the season. So keep an eye out for that. Obviously, the Colts got flexed out of primetime last year. Colts, Jags, Panthers.
They also got flexed into primetime.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Was that Minnesota?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and flexed out with the Jets. Colts, Jags, Panthers, primetime game. No primetimers for the Browns, Titans, or Saints.
If you're looking at that schedule, KB, on Sunday to look at the possibility of a flex, Cincinnati, Miami, and that's about it. Yeah, Jacksonville and Denver, if Jacksonville's playing well. And that's literally the only game on Sunday that looks appetizing at all. Maybe Chargers, Cowboys?
Right. And obviously it's, way out there, but we'll see how it all unfolds. So that is a home Monday night game. I think if you take out the 2022 season, I think you have to go back to like 2015, the last time the Colts have had a home Monday nighter.
I was there, KB, unfortunately. That was Halloween against Pittsburgh Steelers, was it not?
2022, and they also, I think, had one against the Chargers that year. Does that sound right?
Well, I'm thinking of, this was way back. The Steelers game I was thinking was way back.
They had
it was an NBC game.
I remember the Steelers, they played on Thanksgiving night. Yeah. Tolzien was the quarterback because Luck had a concussion.
Yeah, and Pat McAfee completed a pass to Dwayne Allen, I think, and that was the...
Really?
I think, yeah, they had a...
Boy, that sounds.
They had a trick play on special teams, and Antonio Brown had like 2 touchdowns. Le'Veon Bell had 2 touchdowns, and
5 4:00 games, and then preseason schedule. You'll play at Baltimore on a Thursday. So again, if I'm playing out this preseason schedule, maybe you'd start training camp like the 24th, first preseason game, then the 7th. That's a Thursday. 16th and 23rd, back-to-back Saturdays, you'll have preseason games. Home with the Packers, so I guess you could go joint practices. 13 and 14, maybe. Here, and then you could go joint with Cincinnati down there.
Yeah, you are correct. 2022, they had the 2 Monday Nighters at home. Chargers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. They also had that Sunday night game in Dallas.
Oh, that was a bloodbath, was it not?
Uh-huh.
Gosh,
that was Sunday night, right?
Yeah, that sounds right, man. Gosh, so much prime time in 2022.
Yeah, Matt Ryan, remember?
All the belief in Matt freaking Ryan. Okay, anything else schedule-wise, Eddie, before we get to Mr. Tuimoloau?
Is it so it's JT Tuimoloau, right?
Yeah, I think at some point Jeff Rickard, one of our co-hosts, maybe asked him pronunciation. We probably should ask him that at the start of it. But nonetheless, I think engaging personality. And again, the Colts right now in the midst of phase 2 of their offseason program. 11-on-11 work starts next week. The Ohio State defensive end, JT Tuimoloau, with us right here.
Let's talk to somebody who should be pretty good. Colts second-round pick, JT Tuimoloau. He's on the line. JT, I'll start with this. I know you finally, had a chance to put on the pads, run around a little bit. It's not real football just yet, but, how does it feel to just be a part of a team and kind of call football your job officially?
Yeah, first off, appreciate you guys for having me on here. But yeah, to answer your question, man, it's a blessing. I mean, I remember when I got my helmet, I was like, dang. I remember the 10-year-old me always dreaming about, playing in the league, and now that I'm here, it's taking some time to, really take it all in, but it's a blessing, especially being around all the vets. Everybody's cool.
One of those vets that you told us you had a relationship with prior to being drafted by the Colts is Zaire Franklin. So have you had a chance to run into him at all? And if you could explain to the listeners just how their relationship has kind of manifested over the years.
Yeah, so me and Z, I started training. He was training out there in Washington and was able to, have the opportunity to train with him and other vets out there. And then, we always chopped it up. And the fact that I wore 44 in college. I remember he texted me and said, "Hey, make sure you keep the 44 story alive." And come full circle. Now I'm playing on the same team with him. And when I first got here, he just checked on me. See how everything was going, see how I was doing, and if I never needed any help, his line's always open and to text him whenever.
JT Tuimoloau with us here on the Payless Slickers Hotline, second-round pick of the Colts. JT, we thank you for the time here on this Friday morning. What's the over-under? How many times you've said to Riley Leonard, do you remember the national title game?
Man, it was I kept quiet, but he brought it up first. He told us that the reason was because they had a lot of schoolwork to do before the game. But, it's all good jokes with Riley, man. That's my guy.
I don't think anything sums up Riley Leonard more than him bringing it up to you. Kind of beats you to the punch there. Chris Ballard shared a story Friday of the draft that he talked with your college coach Ryan Day, and one of the things that Ryan Day expressed to him was like, hey, what's JT doing still on the board? Like, how did he not go in round one? I think at that point you were mid-swing on the golf course, if I'm not mistaken. You shared that story on Friday of draft day. What was Thursday night like for you? Did you think you would go in round one, and kind of what were your emotions Thursday into Friday?
Yeah, there was a little hope to go in round one. When it didn't happen, the real reaction was, kind of devastated. I always dreamed about going round one, but we always knew that, hey, there's opportunity to go tomorrow. So, golf course, we went there to just, step out, take a step out from reality and really get mad at your golf skills rather than, not being drafted day one. But, Coach Day texted me, they all texted me, make sure I was good. And, I got that call. I was so blessed to, be able to be a Colt.
You're treating that opening tee shot like the 31 teams that passed on you? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah. Making sure I hit it about 330 yards.
Yeah,
but, it went far left.
Well, we've all been there.
Yeah.
JT, I'm asked this because I honestly don't know the exact answer. Is it Tuimoloau or is it Tuimoloau?
The first one is Tuimoloau.
Okay.
Like ow.
Ow,
Yeah.
I got that. I just want to make sure. And my other question is, they list you at 6'4.5" and a little over 264, and you almost decided to play basketball at Ohio State. How'd that work out?
Yeah, so kudos to Ohio State. I showed up, I think, a week before fall camp, and I was planning. I wanted to do both. I always felt like basketball always helped me move well on the football field, but they got me in. They said, "Hey, we got to get straight to fall camp," and the basketball dream went right out the window, and I stuck with football throughout college.
Probably good. So, everybody in an NFL locker room is the best basketball player on the team. Where do you think you rank in the pecking order over there?
Yeah, I don't know. I got to see. I know they had a free throw contest not too long ago, so I'm bummed I missed that, but I heard a lot about Mo. Mo actually played ball. So it would be cool to see where I rank up if we ever get another team event, where it involves something with basketball related.
JT, if you have any sort of jump shot, you're good. I've seen a few of them.
I have to have one. My mom gave me her jump shot, so I got to make sure it stays
Nice.
clean.
Yeah, I've seen a lot, and I'm like, man, y'all play like football players. Is usually what
They can add a wing on the complex with all the bricks that they've been throwing over there.
They have the basketball hoop in the indoor facility on the turf, which is always such a weird thing. I took a picture of it. There's like a Colts post in a football facility with the basketball hoop on it, and it's just so random. But
Yeah, I've seen that. I know what you're talking about.
yeah, exactly. So they'll probably get you out there for a couple of horse games after practice one of these days. But
I have to.
on a more serious note, I do want to ask, for those who are not familiar with your game, and obviously we got a good glimpse of it throughout that title run at Ohio State, but how would you describe your play on the field?
Man, I think for me, I'm just, so passionate to, be on that field. I think when I step on, it's whatever I'm willing to, I'm basically willing to die for my brothers on that field. And, I feel like that shows just how hard I play. As big as I am, I can move very well. And, whatever the team needs me to do, it's just kind of you need me to make a play, I'm going to go try and make a play. Whatever you guys need me to do, I'm willing to do it. I'm a selfless player out there, and, I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to get the job done and get the win. So I feel like that's just like a little of everything I do in a nutshell and a summary of my game as best as I can put it.
JT, how did you deal with pressure at Ohio State going in, I believe, as like the highest rated defensive recruit in that program history? We know they have dogs. They have dogs even now still playing in the NFL, and also making sure that you don't get wrapped up in what other people's identities or expectations are, because you are following the footsteps of like Chase Young or the Bosa's and things like that.
Yeah, so, I got to thank my family. I remember it all started when I was told that I was the number one or top-ranked player in the nation, and my pops and mom came to me and pretty much scolded me in a grateful way, just allowing me to understand that. Yeah, no, though they were just making sure that the number or the ranking didn't get to me, that I was just stayed humble, and because they felt like it can always be a number, but it always matters what you do behind the scenes, and I'm always grateful for them. And I think when I got to Ohio State, they just pretty much allow me to tap into the mindset of always finding something you can work on, making sure that you find that inch that you need to do because there's someone always working ahead of you. And, when I got to O State, like you said, there's a history of D linemen that went through there. And that was one thing they told me was like, man, find what JT is as a rusher. And I learned from them, and I just added into, who I was as a pass rusher, as a football player at the defensive end position. And being able to learn from them, have a great supporting family, especially having one of the GOATs of D-line is Coach Johnson, having in my corner. I think I had everything in place just to allow me to find who I was and to be great at it.
New Colts defensive end, JT Tuimoloau with us here, Payless Slickers Hotline. JT, last one for me, and again, thank you for the time. 44, your collegiate number. Certainly Zaire Franklin has had that for a while. Obviously, Tyler Warren also rocked 44 in college. Any reason why? 91, right? That's your pro number here?
Yes, sir, yeah.
Any reason behind that?
No, I know everybody's like, oh, you got to pay for a number. For me, I think throughout my whole football career, whatever number I was given, I just kind of took it and ran with it. And so, so I was given 91. I was like, man, it'd be cool to finally wear a legit D-line number and, wear it in the league. So I was just blessed to have a number and just, ready to get to work.
JT, thanks so much for getting up early for us this morning here on the Payless Slickers Hotline. One last quick question. Are you yet an Indiana Pacer, Indiana Fever fan?
Oh.
Be honest.
Be honest. This is it's a safe space.
To pick between the two?
No.
Are you both, basically?
Oh, yeah. I mean, since I landed, I became one.
There you go.
Since I landed, I became one. Especially seeing what Caitlin Clark did at O State in person. She's a hooper. But, yeah, as soon as I landed, I became a Pacer and a Fever fan.
I like it. Well, we'll see you over there at the games. We look forward to seeing you out at West 56, too. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Enjoyed it. Good personality. Number 91. For some reason, when I saw 91, the first person I thought of was Jonathan Newsom.
Yeah. Eric Walden wore 93. For some reason, I thought Eric Walden, but...
Ngakwe, wore 91 as well. But yeah, for some reason, I just can't get Jonathan Newsom out of my mind. Ball State finest. I think he led the Colts in sacks in their trip to the AFC, or maybe led them in sacks his rookie year. I feel like he had a big sack in that playoff run to the AFC title game.
Isaac Rochelle also wore 91.
Rochelle! Shout out to Notre Dame.
And Sheldon Day.
Let's go.
Back to back.
Another Notre Damer.
Uh-huh. Hassan Ridgeway also.
Hassan Ridgeway. There you
that was
go.
Right after Jonathan Newsom.
Man, you're on your number game.
Oh, I pulled it up on Pro Football Reference. Is that cheating?
Nothing like jersey number aesthetic. No. That's very fair.
Okay.
You got anything else, or should we do some Twitter time?
Let's get into those Twitter questions. I have a handful to get to on today's edition of Colts Corner. Starting with Brian. The Colts did the right thing by pulling the schedule release video and apologizing to Mr. Hill and Microsoft. However, the fans still get no apology for bad football the last few years. LOL. Love the show, and let's go Pacers. By the way, are you on the yes sirs train?
I'm fine with it. I'm glad they're wearing gold this round. I like when the gold out looks gold.
Yeah, that sounds like it was an NBA thing and not a Pacers thing.
The Thunder's checkered out. Oh my gosh, that thing looked beautiful.
That was fantastic.
Outstanding. Okay, schedule release video. From what I've gathered, the Colts' big screw up in this was more Microsoft versus Tyreek Hill. That's what I've gathered. Was more of a copyright, whatever, a legality issue more than they felt like that their joke was in bad taste with Tyreek Hill. I mean, we all make mistakes. I will say that is like their Super Bowl releasing. You see it league wide. The thought and the think boards and the decisions and the time spent on these schedule release videos is rather insane. I'm all for brands having fun. I'm all for brands pushing the envelope. So I have no issue if you want to put a lot of time, put a lot of effort, put a lot of creativity, poke fun. Like, I got no issue with any of that. But man, to screw it up to the point where, like, I posted my story at like 8:15 and I was like, oh, I should go check out what the Colts video was. And for it already to be deleted, I'm like, wait, what? This thing's been up for 15 minutes and it's gone? And luckily the internet, still had it. Yeah, how many eyes had to watch that? How do you screw that? It's shocking to me. Like, how do you screw that up? It's such a big deal to those organizations in those departments. Legal. Like, I honestly might have more of the legal question than more of the, was it in right taste to do the Tyreek Hill thing? I mean, Tyreek doesn't appear to have an issue with it. I'm probably a little bit more of like the, like, I watched the Chargers one, which was also Microsoft.
They had
Minecraft.
the thing right at the beginning, like, this has been approved by Microsoft.
Well, yeah,
or
that
something.
is fine. But did you see what they did when the Colts showed up on the schedule?
Yeah, they had Jason Bean, they had Daniel Jones, they had Anthony Richardson, all in a race. My guess is trying to make a copy of the Indy 500, even though it was the setting start like you see in Formula One.
Yeah, the old standing start versus the running start.
And then they had Anthony Richardson running out of gas, and when he ran out of gas, he went into an empty Pat McAfee suite.
Yeah, I thought that was very, very funny. That's probably what I like about these schedule release videos. I'm trying to think of the Colts. The Colts did like a Mahomes, didn't they have Mahomes Sr. and John Rocker, I want to say it was, and then I want to say like Kyler Murray might have been a jockey in one of them. Like, I'm probably like, that humor at least is like somewhat funny to me. I don't know. The Tyreek Hill arrest and the nature of the arrest, yeah, it's probably crossing the line a little bit. I didn't think it was like egregious, and then when Tyreek clearly didn't have an issue with it, obviously, that isn't probably the big issue. But, I come back to this probably from a little bit more of like, I don't know, a journalistic side of it. For a lot of these brands, it might be the first introduction you ever have with a fan is what you do on social. As much as we want a 12-year-old kid to be locked in every Sunday, that 12 or 14-year-old might be a little bit more inclined to like, hey, what cool stuff are you doing on social media?
Right.
So that's the reality of it. And that is something that I feel like, kind of stands out to me at least. So, I just don't know how you screw that up from a legal standpoint. It just seems like a no-brainer. Of like, no, we have, like, if we are going, and I can't stress enough how much time and investment is put into these videos. But boy, I feel bad for the Colts because I feel like they've been trying for years to toe the line a little bit more social media. I think they've been too robotic, frankly, too Indiana-y with their social media. And so for them to have finally tried to like dip their toes in the deep end and then for it to unfold, honestly, yeah, Brian, it probably sums up what the Colts have been as a franchise, really.
Indiana. Nice.
Yeah, that was a lot of E's. Yeah, sorry about that.
I like this question from Drew. I think he's, touching my heartstrings a little bit because it's one of my favorite movies. So are the new glasses for Anthony Richardson like a Ricky Wild Vaughn or a Wild Thing Vaughn situation? Or has he always worn contacts?
I'm pretty sure he always has on game days. I mean, I've definitely seen him in glasses a lot in the complex. I mean, Eddie, you see me on a rather daily basis. You know me. I'm picking up my glasses right now. I rock them pretty much every day. I wear contacts if I'm like going to maybe like a sporting event or a concert or playing golf, like, somewhere where maybe I'm in a bigger crowd or like don't want to like
look nerdy.
No. I just think the glasses are more convenient for me, just to like pick them up in the morning and drive to work versus, I don't want to swing a golf club with glasses on for example, to use it or if I'm playing basketball or something like that.
You play basketball?
I'm gonna put context in. Yeah, not very well and not very often, but I do enjoy a game of pickup here or there. So yeah, I think honestly that's kind of what Richardson does, but I don't know. Maybe I believe we'll talk to him again around minicamp, so that'll be mid-June.
Sure.
So maybe that'll be a question for him then, but
around the time that we'll find out when training camp starts, right?
Yeah, typically we have to wait a little bit, which I always am kind of a bummer. To me, it's such a big planning point. A lot of families go out there to training camp. It's right around you go back to school. I think the closer you can kind of solidify those dates and announce them, I think is important. One thing to note too, as we bring up Richardson and just the quarterback situation. I just posted something to our website, 1075thefan.com. Again, we're a week out from 11-on-11 starting. So, we're a week out from, getting going. Richardson, Jones, offense, defense, battle.
Yeah.
Shane Steichen uses that word consistent so much to describe what he's looking for in the quarterback battle. Doesn't that just scream advantage Daniel Jones?
Perhaps it does. Perhaps.
Now, I've argued, you don't need Richardson to be absurdly consistent. Honestly, if he could probably eliminate the turnovers more than he could eliminate the inaccuracy, that could probably help aid him as well. But it almost seems like the Colts have gone away from this home run ball with Richardson, create big plays. It's so hard to drive 12 plays and 80 yards in the NFL. You got to create chunks to no. I'd rather have somebody drive 33 miles per hour in a 40 and get us to our destination on time than flirt with going 52 in the old speed limit. So that will be something I think to keep an eye on. Can Richardson find consistency through, again, better footwork, calmer in the pocket, throwing with touch, throwing with anticipation? But, again, how much does that consistency benefit Daniel Jones? Now, I don't want to act like Daniel Jones has been uber consistent, or it's probably better to say he's been consistently blah. It's not like he's been consistently good. If he'd been consistently good, he wouldn't be playing for the Colts right now. So the bar is very low, but we are about to get started here with that.
Your thoughts on Major League?
Terrific film. Yes, terrific. I'm afraid if I try to reference that to Anthony Richardson, though, it might go right over his head.
That's probably accurate.
Was he born when Anthony Richardson, turns 23 this week? Is that right?
Is it 23 or is it 22?
I think he is 22, right?
I don't know.
He was born in 2002. What year do you think Major League?
So that would be 23. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, it came out the year I was born. Holy shnikes. 89. Wow, I would not have guessed that. I guess now that I think about it, yeah, I probably wouldn't have guessed something more 90s.
You're 36? Or you turn 36?
I'll be 36 in September, yeah. Andrew Luck and I 6 days apart.
Wow, really?
Mm-hmm.
There was somebody that Robert Schwartzman, the pole sitter for the 500.
Yeah.
350 days younger than me.
Look at that.
Are they the Ricky Vaughn glasses or are they the Hot Rod? Rodrigo Blankenship.
Oh, I saw he's been very good in the XFL,
CFL?
maybe?
CFL?
Is it CFL?
I don't know.
I thought it might have been XFL. Yeah, I thought he's been very good. Maybe he'll Jake Bates it up, right?
Yeah, that's right. All right, let's get back to the Twitter questions. That golf guy says, is the expectation that Samson Ebukam will be back at 100% by camp? I think defensive line will take a huge jump this year with a new system. Thanks for the great podcast as always. Yeah, so I don't think getting back for the playoffs was ever really a thought last year, but yes, I mean, the thought is he'll be cleared for training camp. I'm trying to think injury-wise. Obviously, Zaire Franklin's going to be one to watch. Is he indeed out there for the start of camp? Does it creep into camp at all? We'll see if any injuries happen in OTAs or, you hope, Daniel Scott, sadly, he's gotten hurt each of the last couple of years. Carlisle, I would assume, would be good. The thing about Ebukam that's nice is, he does play a position where you can kind of ease him along. You can rotate a lot there. Whereas, was it Eric Fisher? Was he coming off the Achilles when he came here? Yes. Does that sound right? Yeah. That's not a position where you really ease into it. That's a name I haven't heard in forever. Playing every snap. Well, yeah, I don't think that went swimmingly well. So,
that it's different at defensive end than it is at offensive tackle or corner or some of these other positions where linebacker, where typically you don't get brought off the field at all. But yeah, what Ebicom looks like, he 10 months out right now probably from it. That will be huge. Wow, Jonathan Taylor's missed more games than Christian McCaffrey over the last 3 years. Is that real? I just saw this across my timeline.
Maybe.
What a frightening stat. I feel like Christian McCaffrey's out every week.
Well, that was when he was with Carolina. He had been pretty durable since going to San Francisco.
16 missed games for Taylor versus 14 for Christian McCaffrey.
I'm sure most of those for Christian came last year.
Yeah, 4 last year. Yeah.
Garrett is next. Seems like we have a good idea of the roster that will surround Anthony Richardson for this upcoming season. Do you believe that the Colts have put adequate or enough pieces in place to get an accurate evaluation on if AR will be the quarterback of the future after the 2025 season? If not, is there any chance you think they still need to make moves before camp to shore up any glaring holes? I want to be excited about the pieces coming in, but I'm fully in the camp of thinking the Colts will only go as far as Richardson can take them this year. Thanks as always to you and Eddie.
Garrett, thank you for that and for this question. I would say this in regards to where we're at with Richardson. Like, if the Richardson experience fails in 2025, and for some reason they're done, I don't think the screw-up is going to be because of lack of investments. It will be more because of a misevaluation and a misdevelopment, not a missupport. I'm not sitting here acting like the Colts have like a Hall of Fame grouping around him, but I don't think that has been an issue. I mean, I'm trying to think of some other situations around the league where maybe we can point to a lack of supporting cast.
Heck, just look at the AFC South. Do you think they have the best supporting cast for a quarterback in the AFC South?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would have voted Houston in recent years. I mean, I think Nico Collins is a great wideout.
But now it's just him and Mixon, right?
Yeah, certainly it's dropped off. We'll see what those other wideouts do for them. I don't know. Dalton Schultz, hell, he'd look like a Hall of Fame tight end if he were playing in Indianapolis. So, the wideouts are, you think, ascending. JT's presence is JT's presence. Obviously, you hope Tyler Warren is it. Now, it is interesting. Like, I say that, and you and I debated this a few months back. There also hasn't been the big, real swing with Richardson. Like, usually you do see that on the rookie contract. You do. I mean, I've brought these moves up time and time again. You see the Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown. You see the Stephon Diggs with Josh Allen. You see a little bit of the Tyreek Hill with Tua. You haven't necessarily seen that, but I don't know. I mean, the Colts really didn't give quarterback any serious thought in the early rounds during the draft. I don't look at it like if misevaluation, misdevelopment, missupport, rank those 1 to 3. The support would be last. Mm-hmm. I don't know if evaluation or development should be higher, but that's how I would view that.
Yeah. Last question is from Tyler. Rank these in order of most likely happen to least likely to happen for the 2025 season. I need you to get off your phone so you're paying attention, please.
I like these ones.
Put your phone down while you're in class.
Oh no, I'm taking notes to make sure that I have them.
Are you sure?
In order.
Okay. The Colts end the streak of the Week 1 loss by beating Miami.
Oh, jeez. Anthony
Richardson starts and finishes 13 or more regular season games. Tyler Warren finishes the season with 600-plus receiving yards and 5 total touchdowns. The Colts beat the Jags in Jacksonville in Week 14's matchup. Leatu Latu records double-digit sacks.
Boy, these are some pauses. The Warren stat line, 600 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Total touchdowns, so that's rushing or receiving.
Boy, the rushing part is probably a good one to point in there. I'll go, what are the Colts right now? Do we have line 1 or week 1 odds out? What is it, Miami -1? Indianapolis -1?
Honestly, I have no idea.
I'll say Colts beat Jags first, as in most likely. I will say Colts beat Dolphins.
It is Colts -1 right now.
Okay. Colts over Jags. Colts over Dolphins. Those are 1 and 2 on the list. The Warren stat line, 600 yards and 5 touchdowns. I can't imagine that's been done by too many tight ends in their rookie year. I mean, obviously Bowers did it. I'm sure Laporta did it. I think Evan Ingram might have had a big rookie year, but I just can't imagine that's been done too many times. Richardson starts and finishes 13 games. This is where I think the 3 individual ones are the 3 toughest ones. Richardson, 13 games. Warren, that stat line. Latu, double-digit sacks.
By my quick research, only 15 rookie tight ends have eclipsed 600 yards. And 1, 2, 3,
15 of them. I can't imagine
4,
all
5,
15 had
6,
5 touchdowns.
7, 8, 9. 9 of them had 5 touchdowns. That's at least receiving. I don't know. I can't get to
so there you go, 9.
total.
So let's call it 9. So in the history of the NFL, 9 tight ends have done it. I'll go Richardson. Boy, I don't know about that. Gosh. I'll go Warren stat line, Richardson 13 games, Latu double-digit sacks to round it out. What would you go with? Most to least likely.
I would probably. It's hard knowing, right? Without that week 1 quarterback situation.
Oh, I mean that's yeah
For the Colts.
Yeah.
Boy, for some reason I'm most confident in Tyler Warren at number 1.
Wow. Okay.
Just because if it's Daniel Jones getting a lot of the reps, then he likes to target tight ends. He likes to operate over the middle of the field. And at least with Anthony, I feel like you're able to get Tyler the ball, on screens or whatever. So that's where I feel most confident for some reason. Don't know why.
I mean, Richardson 13 games. He started 11 of them last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's close to 13. So I don't know that number might not. I don't know. I mean, if Daniel Jones wins the week 1 battle, or if Daniel Jones gets to start out of the gate, then you're already down to, unless an injury occurs, you're probably looking at best 13 games.
Yeah, so I would probably go, if this is just based off a gut, I'd go Warren. I would go Richardson. Week 1, Jacksonville, Latu.
Okay, interesting.
The only reason why I put Latu last is because he's probably going to be the guy that gets the most attention out of the edge rushers, right?
Well, in double-digit sacks, it's just like that's kind of a big number too.
Yeah.
But okay, all right, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, next week we'll probably, again, I want to say the OTA viewing is like Wednesday, so maybe nothing until Thursday from a podcast standpoint, just to kind of recap what that looks like. Just to remind everybody, unfortunately, we are in the once-a-week mode here to start things off, and then it'll pick up after that.
One more thing.
Yes.
For those that are local, that are attending the 500, or if you like watching the 500, KB, do you have a pick yet as to who will win?
Yeah.
The 109th running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race.
I was very happy to get a nice bet on Takuma Sato, like 25 to win.
Ooh, Taku.
500 before the old sanctions came down. I'll go with Pato Ward. I'm just a sucker for the bridesmaid story. I love his emotion. Outside of row 1, boy, the old Schwartzman coming to the green flag worries me a little bit. His car is not very fast outside of qualifying. Like, if you look at some of the racing stats, like when they have not been in qualifying trim, he really hasn't been very fast. So a rookie coming to the green flag, I'm like, boy, I hope he handles that first lap okay.
We could be in for a dicey start because you got the 2 Penske cars, 32 and 33,
Yes.
so they're going to be very, very aggressive on the restarts. By the way, on one of the books, you can get Joseph Newgarden at plus 1,000. That is the 5th best odds from 32nd.
I think those are horrible odds. Horrible odds for a guy start. He's got to avoid a bunch of barf around him to make his way through the field. I mean, that's not easy by any means. Who you got? Who's your pick?
I think it'll be. I think it is Pato's year.
Look at you.
I think it is Pato's year.
Look at you siding with.
But I also really like McLaughlin.
He's a good dude. Seems like a good guy. We're going to have him on our show tomorrow. He is Eddie Garrison. I am Kevin Bowen. Everybody have a great week. Great Pacers and Racers. We'll talk to you a little bit later next week here on Colts Corner with Kevin Bowen.